For too long, women have not been heard or believed.
You told the world that time's up on violence.
1 out of every 5 women will be sexually assaulted and raped before she reaches the age of 18.
It's 2018 and I've realized that nobody is safe long as she is alive. And every friend that I know has a story like mine.
You think that just because I'm a woman, I'm incapable of making my own choices?
It doesn't matter what you think.
Don't I as a woman deserve to even have an opinion? Don't you?
You have no idea what it is to be a woman.
So I asked myself, what can I say about being a woman?
Hi, my name is DAmini and this is Her. Women have a big impact on our lives, especially as we're growing up. They're our mothers, our grandmothers, our sisters, our aunts, our cousins, our partners, and so on. Women have the power to create nations. They help shape the world, our societies, and communities. Women are amazing. They are innovators, trailblazers, creators, and dreamers. In this series, Her, I will interview a dozen inspiring and influential women from different backgrounds. Are you ready to meet her? Let's go! Who is Asifa Sheikh?
I am a Firefly creative writing coach, and I'm a mom of 3 cats, and I live in Toronto. That's me.
That's cool. What are some defining moments in a girl's life? What was yours?
I think I can think of a couple that really stand out, but I think when I think of being who I am, like a brown, Muslim, Canadian, Pakistani girl, there's so many layers. That one moment that really stands out to me, where they felt like they all kind of collided, in my family at least, was when I started to wear the hijab and I actually changed my dress code while I was in university, and my parents were really worried. And it was the first time that they really articulated to me what they thought were limitations for me. And they were like, you're a girl, it's already hard for girls, and you're brown, and you're now just displaying your identity. And so now there's no hope for you. Like, it's going to be so hard. And to be fair, they were just scared for me. It was really their fears and worries. But I took that on as a bit of a challenge. Like, okay, these are the things I'm going to be up against. It was my first awareness that all those 3 things would be things that I might be dealing with and battling kind of in my life around how they're perceived. So, yeah.
How do you think the world's view of women has evolved?
You know, I think the voices of women being elevated through various forms of social media is an important thing. I really think there's, a lot of media is clamor and noise, but the equalizing thing about noise is everybody's noise is included, including women's voices. And I think having our voices out there, no matter what they look like, no matter what we're saying, is important. Also, even though it's heated and sometimes ugly and not always very pretty, but those platforms allow for debate, discussion, showcasing, and it opens up, change. It opens up avenues for change. And I think, humans are always evolving. We're always evolving. I think that's the hopeful way to look at it, is that we are always evolving. And so, but I do think that technology and social media have really increased the voices of women being out in the world.
What do you believe can be done to address gender stereotypes?
When I thought about this, I thought about how the fact that sometimes you can feel really hopeless, because you can feel like, who's little old me? What am I going to change? And I always think to myself, I look at my network of friends and the women in my life, and I ask myself, if there's nothing that I can do to make change for me in a moment, to address a stereotype or to address something, what can I do for my sisters? Like, what's the one small step that I could take for a sister that would advance her voice, that would put her forward? Because in supporting any woman, I've, kind of again, trying to balance out that the kind of the patriarchal society that we're in, to balance that out, I feel like every time I add my effort to another sister's efforts, I've done something. It's something. So I think that's how I look at it. Like, if I can't do anything that, you know, makes a grand gesture of change, the littlest thing I can do is to amplify my sister's efforts wherever they are, whatever they look like. So that's at that personal level. And at the grander level, I think, you know, we make change where the opportunities arise, to be open to them, to step up when you can. It's a busy life. Everyone's busy. It's harder. The older you get, the more tiring and hard it gets in life to make that time. But every time that we lend ourselves to any effort to advance, you know, especially equity and equality for women, then we, you know, it's one drop in the bucket, but it means something.
Why do you think it's important to celebrate International Women's Day?
I think the word celebrate is key for me in there. I think also remember. Those two words come to mind, remember and celebrate. And so one is to remember that the path that we're on as women was forged by women before us. Like, that we are not the ones, this is not new. This is a path that women before us have been forging for us, have been creating for us. And so where we are today is because of women before us. And so celebration allows us to look back and honor them, to remember where we came from and to remember where we're going, and to celebrate where we are, because there's so much effort involved and so much sometimes heartbreak for women in moments that we don't succeed and where their challenges still exist, that I think pausing to celebrate wherever we are is really important. So that's why I think that International Women's Day is important.
What does the 2022 International Women's Day #Break the Bias theme mean to you?
So when I thought of that, the first thing that actually sprung to my mind was the medical system for men and women, like men and women's experiences in the medical system. And I mean, even though this is Canada and we have like really wonderful healthcare, and yet still the challenges for women to get their health addressed appropriately, to be taken seriously by the system. Like, it's frustrating to think we're here in 2022 and this is still the case. This is still a problem. You know, women having agency when they're, you know, giving birth to their children in hospitals. I mean, some of these issues continue to exist. And I also think about how the biases are also about inclusion, like women feeling part of the movement for women, so that women who are, you know, and part of society as a whole. So women who face barriers because of age, because of their abilities, because of their racial backgrounds, like all of those things, kind of dismantling those and breaking those mechanisms down that prevent women from feeling that they are equal members and valued members of society.
Those are definitely key points. How can we include more racialized women in leadership?
Yeah, that was a really good question. I'm just thinking. So I think really it's about that creating opportunities if you can, and also being ready for opportunities. So on the one hand, I feel like there's, you know, empowering women empowering women to be able to create opportunities for each other, and then being able to be ready for them as well. And I think about this, like, I'll give an example of this kind of maybe advocating work that women can do, but it's like, if you don't fit the role for leadership in a given situation, to have the generosity and magnitude of like spirit, a larger spirit, to be able to say, hey, but my sister might do it, or my sister over here might do it, to make sure that someone who could really do a good job that nobody sees, but you know, you can see, and if you have the opportunity to use your voice to pull them up and showcase them, because probably they're hidden in the shadows and no one is seeing them. And so, yeah, maybe I can't do it, but maybe a sister of mine can.
It's definitely important to pull people up, especially for women to pull each other up and support each other.
For sure.
What do you think allies can do to help achieve gender equity?
Oh, wow. I think the humility of listening, and I've seen it in action. And I have to say that, you know, I'm at Firefly Creative Writing, and I see this in my team members and Chris, my boss. Like, I see this at that actionable level of what listening and responding in a way that's supportive when asked for, what that looks like, and learning how to do that, being humble enough to learn, and to grow from mistakes and not feel shut down from mistakes, to not think, okay, can't help people because I did it wrong. I mean, mistakes are going to happen, but I think it starts with that humility of listening.
Very true. What advice do you have for the next generation of amazing women? What advice do you have for her?
I really want to tell women what I wish somebody had told me, which is that sometimes, for some women, opportunities are more, for some, they're less. But the thing I want to tell women is you're still always more than you think you are. And that actually, no matter how small or large you think your role is, your role matters and you matter. Because it's incredible work that women do. And so much of it can be invisible. And I feel like someone needs to remind us at some point that it matters. It matters because it advances. I think about mothers with their daughters working away in the shadows while their daughters are out there doing things. I think of women, supporting women in volunteer efforts everywhere. All of the cases that I can think of my own friends. I just want to tell women, like, whatever limitations that people are telling you about, you're more than that. You're more than your own sense of who you are. You're grander than that, and you have to believe in that. And also what others are saying. Those limitations are not going to stop you from being an amazing, woman.
Thank you so much for doing this interview.
Thanks a lot, DAmini. These were really good questions, and I really appreciate having a chance to answer them. I feel really, really touched that you thought of me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Happy International Women's Day.
To you too.